I'd absolutely beat his fucking ass. I would Mike Tyson him to the fucking ground. This is why we should have a cage match. So, why don't we just have a cage match and settle things that way? Or, if you want me to fly out to you, I'd be perfectly willing to have a boxing match or an MMA match where I could beat your face in. Let's set up a fucking MMA match or a boxing match. I can't actually travel across the border until my probation is up next year. But if you want, that'll give us some time to train. Like, I don't know if you do any boxing or kickboxing or MMA or whatever. So we can both train for that period of time. And then, when I can cross the border, then we can set up a boxing or MMA match and we can fight. So does that sound good to you? Let's set up a boxing match or an MMA match. Let's see what you got. You want to prove it? Well, then fight me in a cage. Yeah, again, I'll fight you. Like, I'm serious. I have enough money saved up to fly to whatever part of the world you're fucking from and go to an MMA gym and beat the fucking shit out of you in a cage. I'll do it. If you want to do it, I'll do it. Let's have a fucking MMA match. So let's find out who the bigger pussy is. Let's have a cage match. We'll set things up legally. We'll sign waivers and everything and get a referee. So we'll find out if the meat eater is a bigger pussy than the vegan. We can do that. Well, how about you come down to Toronto? We can meet up, and we can have an MMA match. We can do it perfectly legally so neither of us gets in trouble with the law, and we can see who the weak, malnourished one is. You won't do it, will you? Because you know I'm bigger and stronger than you, and I'd absolutely demolish you in a fight, and I'm sure you'll come up with whatever excuses you can to get out of it, but everyone knows I'd beat your ass. You're the one who's too afraid to fight me, you weak coward. You know what, if Blaha wants to come up to Toronto, we can set up an MMA match. There's plenty of MMA gyms here, so if he wants to show how much of a pussy I am who can't fight, well, everyone knows you're full of shit. I'm even perfectly willing to fight you. If you think I'm such a soy boy, then let's settle all of this in a boxing ring. If you want to see if I can feel guilt or not, let's go in a cage. Let's settle this in an MMA match. You think I'd feel guilty about what I'd do to you in a fucking cage? In a boxing ring? No? I sure as hell wouldn't. Any fucking time. Look, literally, I'm not even kidding. I'll do an MMA or boxing match with you with one hand tied behind my back. Literally, I am not even kidding. I will fight you with one hand tied behind my back. Email me if you're not too pussy to still fight me. We'll set up a boxing or MMA match, do it totally legally, but I'll tie my one hand behind my back to give you an advantage. Are you still too fucking chicken shit to fight me? Well, of course you are, because you are the biggest pussy on YouTube. You fucking claim you're such a badass, you don't care about ethics, but every single fucking time anyone has confronted you out on the streets, you've complained and called the cops like a little bitch. So why don't we set up an MMA match, Frank? I'd probably blow out my back anyway. So why don't we set up an MMA match? I'm out of shape. I get injured easily. I'm depressed. Obviously, you'd be able to fight me in an MMA match, right, Frank? Or maybe we could even just arm wrestle, if that's a little too scary for you. So, you think you can take me in an arm wrestling match, Frank? I don't fucking think so. Not with these pipes. I just want to fight him in a cage. At this point, that would be a lot more fucking satisfying. If I'm a fat slob and I'm out of shape, fight me in a cage, bitch. You won't do it. You won't do it. I've challenged him before, and he literally said in the comment section that I'm too big and strong for him to fight. He'd lose, so there's no point in doing it. So, yeah, call me a fat slob all you want. You won't fight me, will you, pussy? Like, dude, if I'm such a soy boy, fight me in a cage. Oh. Is that a challenge for a cage match? We can always settle our differences in a cage or a boxing ring. If you think I'm so weak, so out of shape, then how about we settle our differences in an MMA match? I know that you live in New York. My probation is over, by the way, so I can legally cross the border. So it's not a far drive for me to get to you. Any day, any time you want, I can cross the border. We can find an MMA gym. I can drive over to New York, and I can beat your scrawny little ass into the ground. then why don't we settle this in a cage, huh? Why don't we have an MMA match? I've saved up plenty of air miles on my credit card. I could fly out to Texas, no problem. We can find an MMA gym and have a nice clean fight. All I'm doing is challenging you to a martial arts competition, okay? You can accept or decline, okay? It's just a challenge. This is no different than me challenging you to a game of basketball. So, if you're so much stronger, so much more athletic, there's no way I can hang with you. And if you're such a badass, if you're this mercenary black belt, you're a troll hunter, you're not afraid of blowing somebody's head off in a parking lot, then what are you scared of, huh, Jason? What's the problem with fighting me in a cage? Oh, maybe it's because you're not a mercenary. You're a fake mercenary. You don't have a black belt. You're not a badass. You've never killed anybody. You're just a fake tough guy online, and when someone actually challenges you to a fight, you're too scared, so you just put a copyright claim on your channel and report them to YouTube because you're too scared. It's pretty obvious that I just easily beat your ass in a real MMA match, okay? Stop pretending. And if you have a problem with that, Eddie, why don't you come and fight me? So why don't we set up a boxing or MMA match, and you can prove how much bigger, stronger, faster you are than all these vegan athletes, including me? I actually remember I challenged you to a boxing match like a couple years ago, and for some reason, you just went quiet. You wouldn't respond back to me. Just message me anytime, dude. Let's set up a boxing MMA match and let's settle things. If you want to embarrass yourself any further, I'd be more than happy to beat your face into the ground in an MMA match. It'd be great. Bro, fight me in a cage. You're the fucking embarrassment. You wanna see embarrassing? Fight me in a fucking cage, bro. Yeah, maybe I should challenge God to a cage match, see if he accepts. If he's all powerful, then clearly he'd fight me in a cage because he'd win. So if he's not all powerful, obviously he's gonna be a little fucking pussy and not fight me. So yeah, maybe I should just challenge God to a cage match, and if he doesn't show up, then I think that proves that I'm more powerful than your God. So, open invitation anytime. We'll set up an MMA match. You can either come here, I can come to you, whatever. Let's have a fight. MMA match. Let's see who wins. Do you think you'd have a good enough chance against me, Mr. Athlete here? Well, how about we set up an MMA match? Like, I know there's a pretty big size difference between the two of us. I could probably cut down to 205, fight in the light heavyweight category. So why don't we do that? And we can fight at light heavyweight, and we'll set up an MMA match. Or, I don't know, maybe we can even set up an arm wrestling match if that's too much for you. I really don't like him, and I'd really like to fight him in a cage. You know, legally, of course, but yeah, I'd really like to fight him in a cage. Oh, you want an MMA match? Well, if you're ever back in Thailand, it's a lot of Thai boxing gyms. I'd love to fight John Venus and put my elbow through his head. I am literally twice your size. If you think I'm literally falling apart, then let's have an MMA match. I would crush you so goddamn easily, it wouldn't even be funny. I think I could literally rip your arms out of their socket like a fucking gorilla. You're a weak, small child. The only one who's literally falling apart here is you. You're just a skinny little twink, and I could beat your ass, and you'd never do it. You'd never fight me in a cage because you know I'm bigger and stronger than you. You're just a pathetic liar. If you're ever in Toronto, let's set up a fight. You probably would never do that because you know you'd get your ass kicked. So, offer's open. If you're ever in Toronto, let's go to an MMA gym. There are plenty around Toronto, and we can set up a cage match. You are one of the biggest pussies I have ever fucking come across, and I'm challenging you to a fight. So if you want to prove that you're not a fucking bitch-ass pussy who only hits women, then why don't you fight me?